favorite motorsports coverage presents Speed World. And Speed World is off to the indoor races. Pontiac Silverdome, the scene of the Supercross. Wait, who is that man? Part of a crowd of 50,000 fans gathered here for an evening of two-wheel drama and excitement under the plastic roof of Pontiac's major sports stadium. It's Supercross on ESPN. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Supercross. Dave Despain with ESPN analyst Larry Myers. The Pontiac Silverdome in a doubleheader. We'll show you the Saturday night action in a moment, the Sunday action next week. 2 races in 24 hours. And, Larry, I got to believe that for those who would try to catch the series leader, Jeremy McGrath, it's a very important 24 hours.
Yeah, indeed, it's an important 24 hours. What we're looking at more than 24 hours is we're down to the last half-dozen races of the season. And, Dave, as you well know, for the past couple of weeks, let's make that the past 4 weeks, Bradshaw, Stanton, a couple of preseason favorites, they were my picks to win the crown, have said that it's time for us to do or die. We're going to win, we're going to crash, we're going to pick up the pace. I don't know if they have done that or not, but I do know this. It hasn't worked. If they have, it's still been Jeremy McGrath all the way, so something has to happen this weekend or color the season over.
Well, if indeed the heat is on, Jeff Stanton and Damon Bradshaw, I think they're the guys we should hear from. Let's go to the first of our 2 pit reporters, Art Ekman.
Thanks, Dave. Let's get right to the defending champion, Jeff Stanton. There's no more waiting for somebody to make a mistake, Jeff, and as we've talked over the last few weeks, you're getting more aggressive, even if it means putting somebody in the bales. But so far, those feelings haven't translated into changing the course of events.
That's true. For me, it hasn't translated. I haven't been able to do as good as I wanted. But here in the hometown, hopefully I get the crowd behind me. And been back in Michigan now, so I feel much better.
It is very important for the factory team of Honda to get a 1-2 sweep, though, in a series like this. Might it mean that for the sake of the factory that you're really racing for second-place points right now?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not considering myself out. I'm not considering racing for second-place points, but Jeremy's got a good lead, so I need to do whatever I can to whittle that points lead away. Use it to my advantage 2 nights here. 2 nights is important. 91, I crashed out, and I missed 2 nights, so anything can happen to anybody else.
You did mention it's your own backyard. It's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's close to home. It's not home, but it's close enough. So just a short drive up here, and, you know, everybody's here. So I don't take it as pressure. I take it as kind of a relaxation.
Okay, let's go to a guy right now who's had very little trouble winning here when he was racing. That's Bob Hanna.
Thanks, Art. With me is Damon Bradshaw, and despite winning 2 Supercross races this year, is still only in 3rd place, 1 point ahead of Jeff Stanton. Damon, a couple of weeks ago, you said it's either time to win or crash, and since then you've crashed a couple of times. Have you changed your strategy at all?
Actually not. You know, it just happened toward the end of the race. It wasn't like I was actually in the race. I've had to come from behind those 2 weekends, and I just hope to get a start. I'd like to be there with those guys from the beginning.
For you to win this series, McGrath is going to have to mess up big time. With that in your mind, how will you keep your motivation the rest of the season?
Well, I'm just going to try to win races from here on out and try to do what it takes to win and just let things happen from there, and hopefully they'll fall the right direction.
All right, Damon. Well, it sounds like he's got his act together to me. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thank you, Bob. Hurricane Hanna. Stanton and Bradshaw will try to keep up with Jeremy McGrath when we come back. We're back in the Pontiac Silverdome. The riders at the gate preparing for the first of the qualifying heats. Let's take a look at the Isuzu track map, the layout here in the floor of the dome, including that unusual feature down at the left that we'll find out more about in a moment. Let's take a tour with series champ Jeff Stanton.
I'm going to show everybody a fast lap. Hope everybody enjoys the racing tonight and has a good time, and may we all be safe. And I'm going to do a fast lap for everybody. So let's hear it for all the racers. And let's hear it for Jeff Stanton, your Supercross champ.
All right, like the spotlight dance of old, this is the spotlight ride. Larry Myers, talk us through this.
Well, Jeff Stanton was supposed to help us, but that thin cord, piece of spaghetti-like stuff dangling from his helmet is the microphone that flopped out. Great dirt in Pontiac. Now, I know folks think dirt is dirt, but dirt is not just dirt. When you're talking Supercross, you need dirt that supplies traction. It has to have the right moisture content, and this is really good. It's going to rut up. It's going to be nasty for the riders, but it's going to be traction all night long, and I think we're going to see some passing. Now, here's an interesting section. He's going up into the grandstands. Bob Hanna's going to talk about that in just a second, Dave. Comes right back down again, and you'll notice a tremendous number of obstacles when they come off the top of that grandstand section. They come down and hit a series of jumps. That's going to be a long triple that Jeff just doubled there, and he's cutting the track just a hair short as he heads back to the finish line.
A lap with Jeff Stanton, and now more from Bob Hanna on the grandstand section.
Thanks, Dave. These tickets I have here, section 128, seats 7, 8, and 9, are very good seats. But tonight they're not for sale. The reason being is the Supercross track here in the Silverdome comes right up in this area of stands. And it's a three-part section. It's got an uphill with a double jump in it. It's got a very steep cambered turn that's very hard for the riders to get around smoothly. And the most important part is this very steep downhill. It has a small double jump in it, but the main trouble is they get over their head. They get going too fast down here into the next set of doubles. Earlier today, we talked to some riders, and let's go to them and see what they say about this section.
Well, it's kind of tight. It's kind of technical. I've seen guys pile up there at the top of that hill, just one right after another, so it makes for some good racing.
I just think it's a little bit skinny, you know. It's one line up there, and, you know, it's not much good for passing, but, you know, fans like it, and, you know, I'll deal with it.
You want to get up around it and make sure you don't fall in the corner, because it's real hard to pick it up on an off-camber corner like that, and then you want to accelerate down on the downside and just try to get the next set of jumps set up real good and go on from there.
All right, that's the lowdown from the Stars as we prepare for the first of the qualifying heat races tonight. Let's take a look at how we're going to set this main event. 2 heat races will take the top 4 riders from each directly into the final. Those still not qualified will go to the semis, 1 and 2, and the top 5 from each of those will go on to the main event. The last chance gives us the 19th and 20th riders for the feature, and of course the feature is where 20 riders will run for the big bucks and the Supercross points. First of the qualifying heat races at the gate, ready to kick off the action here, and a lot of action there will be in 2 nights of racing in Pontiac. You got a favorite here, Myers?
I think I do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pick right out of the box a long shot. Dave, I'm going to pick Guy Cooper. Forget the fact that we've had the advantage of seeing this video. I'll tell you what is a favorite is this heat race. There are some tremendous race actions involved here.
Gate drops, charge on to turn number 1. A little bit of a surprise right off the bat as Jeff Emming gets himself a good hole shot. Jeff's been plagued by bad starts this year. This time he gets away quickly on the Yamaha number 6 with number 12, Jeff Matasevich in pursuit. And you're right, Myers Peak. There's number 7, Guy Cooper, running third. The real surprise, perhaps, is Gene Newmack's trip into the hay bales and over the handlebar.
I think Gene says, I can't stand this prosperity. Gene has been out for a good number of months. Let's take another look at it. He was injured, this Brooksville, Florida rider was, and missed a good portion of the season, and this is kind of a welcome back, and a nasty welcome back it was. Just lost it, went over the bales.
Checking to make sure the bales are still soft. Emmett grabs the lead. Cooper, spectacular, as always, as he races with Damon Bradshaw. And this is the battle for 3rd and 4th positions behind Matasevich. And Cooper getting the best of it here. Watch as he closes up on Matasevich. Now the battle for the lead is dead ahead, and Cooper's got some great lines here. Up and over and past Matasevich.
Now normally that long jump wouldn't work. It takes the advantage away when you make that corner. But Cooper was finding a way to get that traction, you know, that we talked about a second ago. That exceptional drive out of the corner, and he was able to complete that pass.
Age 31, Guy Cooper out of Oklahoma, taking that unusual line. We'll take another look at how it works here.
You watch this whole section, Dave. You'll see that the set of stutters there. Matasevich has landed. Look, Cooper completely cleared one extra stutter that gave him the momentum to complete that long jump. Now he's out there with nowhere to go, but he got a good drive, and he completed that pass.
Let's see if he can make the same magic work on Emig now as they battle for the lead. Number 6, the youngster Emig, and number 7, the veteran Cooper. And a segment that will show you just how competitive this racetrack really is. Look at Cooper trying to get up alongside as they work their way up into the grandstand. Now back down to the floor of the dome. 2 very different lines for a lot of a lap here as they run side by side.
We've not seen a lot of Jeff Emig this season. He was very, very sick at the beginning of the year, not able to ride up to his potential. He came through in Charlotte. I think he got a second there. And now he's really rounding himself into physical condition. His timing is coming back, and it's showing on the racetrack. A great battle here. Look at this.
Look how long they run side by side before Cooper finally shoves it in front of Emig and takes full command of the lead, but not for long. Meanwhile, Matasevich is caught from behind by his former teammate, number 3, Mike Kudrowski. Kudrowski has become a legitimate championship contender in '93, and his move forward drops number 8, Damon Bradshaw, to 5th spot. That's not even a transfer. And look at this. Emig says, Cooper, I'm not done with you.
Cooper is showing a bag of tricks here that's unbelievable. He's doing it on the jumps. He's doing it in the stutters. And there was a great block pass. Now, here comes Kudrowski. He's from out of the pack. To get where Kudrowski is right now in that number 3 position, he had to pass a whole bunch of good riders. So he really has the momentum at this time.
While the Cooper and Emig battle has been spectacular, running those lines hasn't made them particularly fast, and that has enabled Kudrowski to catch up. Now, Emig retakes the lead with the laps winding down, works his way back in front of Guy Cooper, and this one goes down all the way to the wire with Kudrowski up into 3rd, and the other issue is whether Damon Bradshaw will be able to deal with Matasevich and get a transfer spot. Focus is up front. Who do you like, Cooper or Emig? As this one comes down to a conclusion, Cooper thinks he's got he's already cheering the waving to the crowd.
If we put a stopwatch on Cooper, would he be in the air more than he is on the ground?
They call him airtime, and you see why as he battles Jeff Emig here. And then the big surprise. Kudrowski comes up and spoils the party for Jeff Emig.
Emig, though, treated him rather rudely as he just gave him a bump and took the number 2 position right back. Now, the two of them are fighting for second. Kudrowski's the veteran, the seasoned guy here. He's not going to do anything rash.
Cooper protects the line, gets the win. Emig hangs on for second over Kudrowski. And Matasevich indeed collects the 4th spot. Damon Bradshaw's got to ride the semifinal. Let's go trackside and hear from Guy Cooper.
Guy Cooper, that was one of the most exciting rides you've had since your problem with your injury. How's this track suiting you?
So far, so good. In practice at the beginning, no rust. I felt really good with it. Second practice, it rutted out. It was kind of difficult to get through, but they worked it real good, and so heat race, it was fine. Hopefully the main event will be all worked good, and I can take different lines. It's a lot of fun.
The one corner right behind us.
You're a wild man. Good ride, Jeff. It's fun racing.
The one corner right behind us that you were using the outside line. Tell us a little bit of how you're using that.
Well, there's a few turns that I can run wide, and it'll set me up for the straightaway. Although Jeff was faster going to the inside, but if I could get clear of him, I pulled away a little bit. So my mechanic gave me several times to take the inside, not the outside. So last lap, I rode a little conservative, but if I can take the outside and jump everything, I think I'm going to be pretty fast tonight.
One more question to wave about midway through. Is that to get the crowd going or get Guy Cooper going?
Both. I had fun out there, just letting everybody know that I enjoy it and having a good time.
Well, it looks like tonight might be Guy Cooper's first Supercross victory.
I sure hope so.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Cooper is all smiles. Not many smiles in this camp. Damon Bradshaw explaining to Brian Lunnes how he managed to not qualify. We'll be back with more after this. We're back in Pontiac. Half the field have had their shot at a direct transfer to the main event. We'll go to the second of the qualifying heat races and pick 4 more riders who will be featured tonight in the championship main event. And this time we'll get a look at the hot young kid from Marietta, California, who dominates Supercross 93. We speak, of course, of Jeremy McGrath. Here, the field at the gate, ready for the launch. Let's see who'll get the whole shot as they charge to turn number 1. Surprise. Number 15.
That is a big surprise. How many hole shots has he had this year?
All of them, I think. The kid is amazing. Number 15, McGrath, a rookie in the series, but look who jumps out with him. Number 19, Brian Swink. And there's a story there that we'll get to in a moment. Grayson Goodman is 3rd. And number 23, Denny Stevenson. Here is Jeff Stanton suffering yet another bad start and stuck back in the traffic trying to move his way forward. Remember, the top 4 gain transfer positions. He's got some catching up to do. Number 19, Swink. Let's pick up one more guy here. Michael Craig will be very much a part of this story. Number 24.
Craig has really come on strong and been hot. He's just progressed and progressed and progressed. And if we started the season tomorrow, this guy would be a legitimate contender.
This is your race for third and fourth. Craig taking the spot from Stevenson. This, I think, is the story. Swink and McGrath were champions on opposite ends of the country last year in 125. It was supposed to be a great battle for Rookie of the Year, if you will. What happened?
I think that we were looking for a battle maybe, between these two guys around 5th place. And instead, McGrath is way out in front of the series. And Swink is down around 9th or 10th in the standings. Swink just never got it together, and McGrath did.
Boy, he did big time. You saw a little Swink bobble there, but here is the big McGrath bobble. First time he's done the dirt nap all season.
Yeah, that was the hay nap, Dave. He went right over to take a bite out of that bale. I think he's trying to replenish the horsepower in that Honda. He's going to get it replenished, though. He bounces right back. That gives Swink a little bit of breathing room, and I would think it should give both those guys out front, Craig and Swink, some confidence. But before it's over, you'll see that the two of them battle each other. They take lines away from each other, and that's going to allow McGrath to get right back into it. Let's take another look, and you'll see what I mean. Now, watch Jeremy. There he goes. Gulp. See there? He took a big bite right out of that hay bale.
You're right. He just doing a little grazing there in the corner. McGrath down for the first time. Swink and Craig go by to take first and second spot. It drops McGrath to third. He came back quickly, got right back on form, and there is the first of the Swink bobbles that almost let Craig get around, but more importantly lets Jeremy close right up. Here he takes the measure of Craig, who lost his momentum, and McGrath says, by golly, I'm going to be able to fall off and still win this thing.
That's what's running through his mind. That's the kind of confidence you get when you have the season that McGrath is having. Look at him go through the stutters, and he had the good line there, and he just backed out of it. He let Swink go. He's riding intelligently. I think that that's just as important as the winning that he's been doing, the way that he's been doing it. He doesn't seem to take any unnecessary risk.
Craig comes up for a moment, got a wheel back in front of Jeremy, but McGrath not in danger, knew he had the good line to hang on to second spot. Stanton rears his head here and says, I need a piece of this action up front. I just watched Damon get 5th. I'm going to at least do better than that. He moves up to 4th as the battle continues up front. 3 youngsters and the series champ having at it in a great heat race. It's really a 4-man battle for the win now.
Indeed it is, and the 4 guys are just going at it there. McGrath kind of takes the line away from Michael Craig. Now, when they go up that uphill again, Dave, I want to show you something. I want you to watch the lines, and I'll point it out to you, that the other riders take. They go through that groove, that rut on that tight U-turn to make it back down to the bottom. A lot of crashing has gone on there. Then I want you to watch Jeremy McGrath's line. Because what McGrath does is say, why should I take a chance? And he's going to avoid that rut. It's very interesting and a very intelligent move. Now watch, they'll take this left-hand turn. They're headed uphill. Watch where McGrath goes. See there, he avoids the rut. But you see Craig drop right down into it. McGrath is the only one that I've seen all night long make that intelligent decision.
The kid's an innovator. He's young, hasn't got a lot of experience, but he has tremendous natural ability. It is a gift to be able to ride Supercross the way Jeremy McGrath rides it. He's back in front of Craig, now second. Swink has faded to third, but is unsatisfied with that and shoves a wheel right in front of Michael Craig and retakes that spot. Stanton kind of stuck back there behind this melee in front of him. With the different lines these guys are taking, there are none left for Jeff.
Yeah, quick call to number 602, former factory rider for Team Yamaha. He lives right around the corner from the Dome. That's Keith Bowen coming out of retirement for one event.
He says, I got to ride the hometown race anyway. 4 men on the final lap going for the victory. As you can see, number 15 has made the break and gotten away from 19, Brian Swink. There's a bit of a move by Stanton, I guess.
I don't know if he was just out of place or if he was in place and Craig was out of place. Hard to tell there. I think Stanton is playing it intelligent right now. He's just going to sit back and take that final transfer spot. I just think here in the Dome, in front of the hometown crowd, that's important to him.
Trying to make a pass here could be deadly as number 19 Swink and number 24 Craig go side by side. There's not much left.
No room, that's for sure. Also point out, Swink is from Michigan, and he has, of course, look at Craig. Look over. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He said, here I am on the other side. He made the pass again.
Here's Jeremy McGrath turning for home, fell off, still won it. What a star. Swink is second over Craig in a close finish, and Jeff Stanton will get the 4th and final transfer spot out of the 2nd of the qualifying heat races. All right, Bob Hanna, let's see what Jeremy McGrath has to say for himself in victory lane.
Jeremy, we've finally seen you do something different this week, and as you know, that was a small crash. Tell us about it.
Well, Bob, I was leaning a little bit too far forward and just grabbed a little bit too much front brake and fell over.
You seem to be very smooth before and after the crash. Does that interrupt your concentration?
Well, it wasn't too bad there. It was just a little fall. It's not like it knocked me silly or anything, but, you know, I was just trying to ride smooth and just ride my own race and my own lines, and I caught right back up to him.
The main event. Tell us your philosophy on the main event tonight.
Well, my philosophy is to get another good start like that and hopefully not fall down, that's for sure.
All right, good luck, Jeremy.
Thanks, Bob.
Jeremy McGrath on the verge, perhaps, of taking the championship away from this guy, Jeff Stanton. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to the Silver Dome. We will move on to the semifinals. Damon Bradshaw, 5th in his heat race, relegated to the semi and needs 5th or better to advance to the championship main event tonight. And we're going to kind of fast forward through this one. The first half of the race, not much happening. Number 31 factory Phil Lawrence locked in a battle with number 21 Steve Lamson, a Suzuki and a Honda respectively. Couple of kids out front, and Damon Bradshaw in the back and not doing a whole lot.
Damon Bradshaw has not so far had a good day. Terrible heat race. He rode like a noodle, I think. And in the first half of this one, he rode basically the same way. Somewhere around the midway point, he started to pick up the pace a little bit, and he became a little bit more aggressive, and he looked a little bit more like Damon Bradshaw. Now, I don't know if he has a switch in his helmet, if Lunas has a switch on the bike, or what it is, but he has not been good up until this point. Then he caught fire.
First he went around Mike Jones. Now he's about to go around Larry Ward. And this is the Damon Bradshaw who very nearly won this championship a year ago. He closes into the rear wheel of Phil Lawrence. Phil is no match as Bradshaw goes up the hill, cuts it short, takes that Jeremy McGrath line around the rail, and goes all the way to second spot, challenging the leader. You're exactly right. Now watch this. Clunk. Excuse me, coming through.
He saved it.
Yeah, he did. Brilliantly. And Bradshaw takes the lead. It is the kind of effort we've expected from him in the past. Look what happened right here.
Little tiny hole. He managed to get the Yamaha.
This is ESPN,
almost
AM Network.
I don't think Lamson had coming there, and Lamson had started to close the door.
That one came right out of the blue as Bradshaw goes all the way to the lead with a magnificent charge. Number 21 Lamson gets the second spot. Lawrence, Ward, and Jones round out the transfers. Let's find out more about that charge. Bob Hanna with Damon Bradshaw.
First half of the semi, you were kind of loitering back there, and then you just turned it up, and you were the old Damon Bradshaw. What was that? What was the difference?
Well, I just hadn't been as aggressive as I needed to, and I said, well, let's try that and see what happens. And, you know, obviously it worked for me. That looks like what I need to do.
The small uphill corner we were talking about with the camber turn on it, you did a fantastic move up there, but I don't know what happened. Tell us about it.
Well, I kind of jumped up there, and Steve drifted a little bit. He drifted a little more than what I thought. I was just going to try to get on the inside, and we bumped, and, you know, I got the better end of the deal, but I was just trying to make a pass.
Well, you look good, Damon. Good luck in the main.
All right, we were able to condense semi-1 to the last half of the race. We can condense semi-2 even more than that. We had a battle here between Eric Kehoe and Denny Stevenson that was pretty good for a while before Stevenson pulled away. Kehoe trying to put some inside moves on him. Stevenson is a youngster. Kehoe's been around a long time. Best move of the race had to be Cliff. Cut a 360 Palmer. Just keep paddling. The racetrack will eventually come back around, and he didn't even lose a position. How about it?
That was, I don't know what to say, Dave.
I can tell. Okay, Stevenson out front, runs away with it. That's about all you need to see out of that one. Here he comes to the checkered flag. There was, however, a good race for the final transfer spot. Here is number 311, Koji Okawara, under attack from the 56 of Grayson Goodman. Grayson knows he's got to get around Koji if he wants to ride the main event. Takes the inside line. Koji said, and Goodman gets the position. So there are your top 5. Jeff Glass, number 51, securing that 4th spot. Stevenson, Kehoe, Palmer, Glass, and Goodman go to the main event, and we'll go trackside and hear from the race winner, Denny Stevenson. He's with Bob Hanna.
Denny, you had a pretty good battle with Eric Kehoe there. Were you just waiting to wear him down, or were you trying to pull away in the start?
I got out second behind Eric, and I just tried to stay smooth. I felt I was faster than him. I was just making some really stupid mistakes.
So I was just waiting, kind of biding my time, and I snuck by in this corner right here after this triple. So then I just tried to stay smooth after that and just put on a good show for the crowd.
Track easy to pass on or difficult?
Actually, it's kind of tough, but it's difficult. The riders are making mistakes. So you attack them when they make the mistakes, I guess.
Good luck in the main.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
That gives us 18 riders in the main event. The final two are Sean Kalos and Larry Brooks. First and second place finishers in the last chance qualifier. The 125 championship main event when we come back to Pontiac. Back in the Silverdome, Ezra Lusk preparing for battle a long way from his home in Bainbridge, Georgia, the second-ranked rider in the Eastern Region 125 Series. Here is Chad Pedersen, another championship contender. But if you poll the 50,986 fans here tonight, they'll be pulling for this guy. This is Jeff Curry, who comes from Saginaw, Michigan, and the home crowd really like number 52. It's got to be a thrill to race in front of this many of your home folks.
Yeah, here's the funny part. The 125 class generally has a lot of local riders for the fans to choose from. There's only one from Michigan in this main event.
You saw number 16, Doug Henry. Now you see the advantage which he holds in the championship standings. It's conceivable Henry could clinch the championship here tonight if everything fell exactly his way. Field about to come set. We're going to take a look at the highlights. We can summarize this 125 race pretty effectively, I think, as the 30-second sign goes sideways. Doug Henry's the man on a roll here. It took him a couple of races to win the first one, but he's been salty since then.
He has indeed. You know, he has won from the middle of the pack after getting bad starts. He's got hole shots. He's done it all. He's easily, I think, the #1 rider in this 125 class.
Well, he was not #1 to the first turn tonight. That distinction belonged to Pedersen, the Iowan, who is back in championship form. He didn't last long out front. Took Henry exactly one quarter.
He was #1 to the whoops and through the whoops, and I think that's all that counts from here on out.
Pedersen coming back from an illness and battling here for a while with Henry.
Yeah, not long, though. Henry, pretty smooth, pretty relaxed. He knows where he is going and what he is doing. Now, Henry just says, I'll move over. I'll give you that line temporarily. I think it surprised him, but he just, you know, he grabbed a handful of throttle on the downhill portion of the track. The two of them side by side, exciting for a moment, but that was history, and now we're seeing Pedersen being challenged by Ezra Lusk.
Lusk comes up, takes over the second spot. However, briefly, the youngster then found himself on the ground and surrendered that position, and so it remained a Henry Pedersen battle up front. Curry, oh, he was the hero. Look how he comes up and blitzes past Jimmy Eichel to take over fourth spot. Number 52, the man on the move. Davey Yezik, number 597, is next in the sights of the Saginaw Charger, and he's right on by, and the fans were on their feet.
Well, Curry started back around the 7-8 position. He's had an opportunity to pass several riders, and the fans are all stirred up. Number 29 now wanting a piece of Davey Yezik. That's Tim Ferry. We'll not see a lot of Ferry in this race. He's ultimately going to finish in the number 2 position. He made the pass back there to take over fourth. Let's go back up toward the front of the pack, where Curry is now going to work on Pedersen.
This is for second spot, and the crowd go crazy as Curry grabs the position. Is there a chance he might catch the leader and win the race? That would blow the plastic roof right off the Silverdome. Here was the end of the line for Chad Pedersen and almost for that flagman over there.
He made a sandwich at him, didn't he? Watch the poor guy. He's watching Curry and cheering him on, and Pedersen just hit the hay bale. His bike and body, everything went over to the left, knocked the hay bale out from under the flagman, who thought he had a good vantage point to watch that race from.
Meanwhile, up front, Doug Henry doesn't know Curry's from Michigan. He thinks all these people are cheering because he's about to wrap up the Eastern Region Championship. A combination of his win and Ezra Lusk's crash means it's all over. Henry, Ferry, Curry, Yezik, and Pedersen are your top 5. Down through the rest of 10 places, it's Steele, Dowd, Karsten, Eichel, and Pestana. Nobody can catch Doug Henry. The championship celebration is on.
Hey, congratulations. You win? That's right. We won.
It's over, huh?
Yeah.
Title's over?
I guess so.
Well, Doug Henry, the championship's over. We talked to your mechanic earlier today, and he said your strategy tonight was stay away from the squids and not do anything radical. Well, you did a good job of that right from the gate.
Yeah, I got a great start.
You know, I don't know, I came out like second or third, but I moved into the front really quick, and I couldn't ask for a better race. It was great.
Did you think it would be that easy to win this championship? You made it look easy anyway.
Yeah, you know, at the beginning I thought it was going to be a really good championship, and it was for quite a while, but Ezra had some bad luck, and, you know, that's what kind of ended it there.
Off the record, I kind of like to know, do you eat Wheaties for breakfast, or what goes on with you? You don't seem to have any competition out here.
Shredded wheat, no Wheaties, just shredded wheat.
All right, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Doug Henry may be the biggest star of the Eastern Region 125 class, but in the heart of the local fans, third place Jeff Curry is the man they want to hear from.
Jeff Curry in front of your hometown fans. It was quite a race there for a while.
Yeah, it's a big help to hear the fans cheer at the start, and I just tried to put it all behind the race. It was a good race. Having problems with a training problem right now, so that came into effect and caused me a crash, but hopefully we'll get it all back together for tomorrow night in Indiana.
Curry making reference to the second half of the doubleheader here in the Silverdome. Tomorrow, you'll see it next week. Indianapolis is the next round in the series as Doug Henry, the 125 champ, celebrates the king and his court. We'll be back with the 250 main event in a moment. Time for the main event here in the Pontiac Silverdome. The 20 fastest men in the field tonight gathering at the gate for a 20-lap main event that will decide the champion of the first half of this doubleheader. And Jeremy was pretty impressive in the heat race. You liking him tonight, Myers?
Well, you have to go a long way to find someone that you like better. The guy gets hole shots that are unbelievable. Damon Bradshaw, though, you know, if I want to pick a guy, I just kind of have to go back with him. If I'm going to butt up against McGrath, I'll go with Bradshaw.
Kedrowski says he's ready to win again after his single Supercross victory at Daytona earlier this year. And, of course, Jeff Stanton rounds out the last of the title contenders. He's the favorite among the hometown fans here tonight. It'll be 20 laps of hard charging. The start is always critical, although, as we have seen here this evening, there's plenty of opportunity to pass on this Michigan dirt that Myers talked about at the top of the show. Nonetheless, everybody's going to be looking for the hole shot. Field comes set. Engines rev. Gate is down, and we're underway.
Look at that, out of the middle of the pack, number 15. He's doing it again. He's doing it to him. McGrath gets the hole shot.
Can he make it stick? Sure enough, it's all Suzuki's behind him. Number 7, Cooper, careens between 12, Matasevich, and 23, Stevenson. Cooper's into second spot. It is the Honda of Jeremy McGrath out front. Michael Craig's number 24, Kawasaki, up into the 5th spot. But in 2 turns, he's left him racing for second place.
Yes, he has, but Cooper has some lines on this racetrack. Let's go back and remember that heat race. He found some things on this track that no one else was doing. Now, here comes Michael Craig, but this could turn into a fight between Cooper and McGrath, because I think Cooper was the fastest guy on the racetrack earlier tonight.
And he's certainly highly motivated. He's coming back from an injury. He wants to win a Supercross before he retires. He's never had a main event victory. And at the age of 31, Cooper is on the charge. You got a glimpse of number 1, Jeff Stanton, and of number 8, Damon Bradshaw, both of whom suffered terrible starts yet again. Kedrowski is on the move. He closes to the rear wheel of Matasevich. And number 23, Denny Stevenson, has fallen off the early pace. He was up there alongside in the battle for second for a while.
Pontiac is typical of the story of the season. McGrath out front. Bradshaw, Stanton, the 2 guys that should have contested for the crown, are way back. Here comes Kedrowski. Good move to the inside of Matasevich, and Kedrowski is riding well tonight.
That'll move Kedrowski into 4th spot. Matasevich falls to 5th. They head up into the stadium section, up over the seats, as McGrath is challenged by Cooper.
Cooper is hanging tough. Remember those lines I told you about, and Cooper right now is using them. Now, the rest of the field are going to find them quickly, and they'll all take advantage of them if, and this is a big if they can propel their motorcycle as high and as far as Guy Cooper. And look at this, there it is, right there.
That same long jump, but this time he jumped inside McGrath.
And McGrath had to, he must have felt that one right up into his teeth and into helmets, and where did he come from? That's enough to make his shell shock. Here it is again. Now, there goes Cooper to the inside. Now, here's that long jump, and McGrath has no idea he's coming. Ooh. Boy, he has an idea there. Look at him. Look at him look over and say, where'd he come from?
He was shocked, and I'll tell you what, if Cooper had jumped on the series point leader, ooh, it would have been a tough time in Pontiac. Here is the race for 5th. And number 9, Larry Ward, will drop Matasevich another spot. Matasevich is marching backwards here for the moment and falls directly into the clutches of Jeff Stanton, who says, I'll take this one too. This looks like a freebie. Stanton is up to 6th. He's got a lot of catching up to do. We got a glimpse of Damon Bradshaw, by my count, either 8th or 9th. A long way from the front, where we find Cooper beginning to pull away and McGrath falling into the clutches of number 24, Michael Craig.
I'll tell you where I would not want to be on that racetrack, between Cooper and Craig. Anything could happen with those two. Look at there. Do you see McGrath look over again? He said, what in the world is going on here? They're jumping on all sides of him, and all he wants to do is get out of the way.
Good test for McGrath's confidence.
Yeah, I think so.
Because all year long, he's been supremely confident. Now they're up there hammering at him, throwing wild curveballs at him and passing him. And the
you know what? I don't remember. When is the last time we saw McGrath get passed?
Look at Craig. Craig has gone around Cooper, and Michael Craig, who has led before this season with a hole shot, comes from the back to take the lead.
If you're looking for job...
We're back in Pontiac, where Guy Cooper, Jeremy McGrath, and Mike Kedrowski run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, increasingly a long way behind the leader, Michael Craig, who has blitzed to the front and, whoa, is in trouble, and Craig is off and on his head.
He's up. Look, I don't believe the guy got up that quick. Unbelievable. They haven't caught him. They haven't. No, they've not passed him. Look at that. He held. That's the kind of lead he had. Wow, is he out front or what?
Flying W, endo, bounce your head off the ground, pick it up, and not lose the lead. That's my kind of motorcycle racer.
And here comes Kedrowski, and Kedrowski trying to put a move on McGrath, and that's going to come up just a little bit short. Now, while we were watching that crash, a Guy Cooper slid back to the number 4 spot. Let's take another look at that crash. Look at this, Dave.
Man.
Oh, boy. That's got to hurt. I mean, why aren't you just laying there? But look at that. He was up before the bike even stopped moving.
Well, it hurts in a lot of different places, too. Here is the race now for 2nd spot. Kedrowski goes inside, takes it away from McGrath. McGrath getting past a bunch here tonight. Cooper has fallen to 4th and is now 5th as number 8, Damon Bradshaw, comes by. And Cooper is on a railroad train going the wrong direction here. He is back from 2nd to 5th in a couple of laps.
I just might point out to you that there's my pick moving up through the pack. He started back around the number 10 position, and he now is in contention. Damon Bradshaw now wants a piece of McGrath. Hasn't been able to do it all year, but this Pontiac dirt, I guess, is favoring him, as he's right on McGrath's rear wheel.
It's going to be very difficult for Damon Bradshaw to win the championship unless he wins all the remaining races. He's capable of that. He won 9 last year. But I think this is a big moment right here. If he can pass McGrath aggressively, go on and win the race, it might make the kind of statement that he needs to make, that his championship hopes are still alive. If he gets stuck behind McGrath, he's toast. He's history.
You know, we have asked ourselves, we've asked other riders, will McGrath feel the pressure? And that might be what we're seeing. What will happen is he starts to slow down to protect the points lead. And it looks to me like that is exactly what is happening. He's not riding like McGrath. Look at this. Here comes Bradshaw. Bradshaw goes by on the inside, and he makes the pass.
Bradshaw is on the move. McGrath is floundering. We'll be back. Pontiac Silverdome on a Saturday night, and are we shaking and baking? Kawasaki kids up front. Mike Craig challenged by Mike Kedrowski. It's all green as Kedrowski looks for his 2nd career victory. He's around Craig and into the lead.
Boy, oh boy, did we just see team tactics at work? I hesitate to say that, but Kedrowski looked to me like he had a highway to go through, and that maybe Craig let him by. And if that's what did happen, Craig made a big mistake, because Bradshaw took the same passing lane.
Yeah, I wonder about that, because Bradshaw definitely shot through the same hole. I can picture Craig letting Kedrowski by. It's harder to imagine that he let Bradshaw.
Oh, and Craig goes down again. Mike Craig got into the whoops. He just nosed in, went over the handlebars. He said, that's it. I've lost the lead twice tonight, and I'm not going to run. There's absolutely no reason for me to get back up and get into this one. And he indeed is taking his time. Watch this. Look, see? Front wheel comes down and catches the lip of one of the whoops. He pitches over the bar into the bales, and that's going to severely hinder his chances for any kind of a decent finish.
I wonder if he did let those guys by, or if he was having trouble concentrating. Remember, he had hit the ground very, very hard prior to that.
That's a good point.
Two big mistakes in close order put Craig out of the show. This now then becomes third and fourth place, and it's Jeremy McGrath against his teammate Jeff Stanton, who tried to chop him.
You know, Stanton's been watching. He says, well, everybody else has passed McGrath. I guess I might as well, too. But the amazing thing there was, one, Jeff missed the block pass. McGrath had a highway to shoot to the inside, and McGrath bobbled again. So again, I ask you, is the pressure finally getting to young Jeremy McGrath?
We saw Stanton make that same move in the heat race, and it didn't work, and this time it did. He moves up to third as Kedrowski takes the commanding lead out front. The question, can Bradshaw catch him? And is Stanton showing this new life on his home track, a potential to run him down and win tonight?
And look, Jeremy almost lost it. He got sideways up in the air. He made a mid-air correction. He brought it back. That was not a good piece of riding. Now, lest someone think that we're picking on Jeremy McGrath, because we are not. We have seen absolutely nothing but perfection from the Murrieta, California rider all year long, and a bobble or two there. He got him right back. He got Stanton back again, but a bobble from McGrath is something to point out.
Yeah, I think your point is well taken when you compare it to Bradshaw.
My pick is picking himself up off the ground. Bradshaw, what are you doing to me? I predicted you'd win this thing.
This is a pattern too, isn't it? He said he was going to be more aggressive. He became more aggressive, and he's crashing a lot, and it's killing his championship hopes. I don't think he can win it now.
You know what? He is not even trying to get back into this thing. I think that he must have done something to his body. I think he hurt himself there a little bit.
We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment. We're back in Pontiac. I think this makes it official. Damon Bradshaw will pull out of round one of the Pontiac Supercross. I see no way that he can win the championship from here. He is a hurting puppy.
Yeah, pulled him out of the title, and evidently, I don't know what his problem might be. He's not holding any particular part of his anatomy there. I'd have to say that he just hit the ground and had the wind severely taken from him, if that's a fair thing to say. But he's out of this one. He's not going to get back in.
Medical personnel there. Brian Lunnis looks on glumly. He's the man who builds the bikes for Damon Bradshaw. It ended last year in the series finale with disappointment. Now it appears to have ended again for the man who would be champion. Jeff Stanton making a run at Jeremy McGrath, but number 15 seems to have regained some of the tempo. You made the point earlier, Larry.
Look at that. You see him take that line, Dave. Sorry to interrupt, but did you see him go around that corner? Well, there's Bradshaw being helped off the racetrack. They're going to set him down and let the medics have a crack at him. Let's hope that it was just the wind that was knocked from him, and he's going to be all right there. Kind of concerning, but as I was pointing out, the lines that McGrath all of a sudden, the way he's riding all of a sudden, that's Jeremy McGrath. Look, not a thing out of place.
Yeah, he's back, isn't he?
He is. Stanton had him at one point in time, and he let McGrath back by him, and now it's Stanton's turn to play catch-up. And again, they've not been able to catch McGrath all year. Tonight they got a little piece of him, but he is right back at it. The kid is phenomenal.
Here's the story, though. It's Mike Kedrowski out front. He who finally managed to win one of these things at Daytona pulls out a 12-second lead. See you later, guys.
One lap to go is what that said. So I think probably what could he do? Stop and push the bike around with a 12-second lead?
Stop and let Sean Nally, the mechanic there, shake his hand early, because Kedrowski is going to win his second Supercross in a matter of a couple of months. He heads into the white flag lap, overlapping number 23, Dennis Stevenson. Don't want to do something dumb now, Mike, but he really has it in hand. And keep in mind that this win is the product of a great charge. He had to come past a lot of people to get to the front tonight. And Kedrowski, there you see the interval back to, well, we probably won't get to second place. We'll follow Mike Kedrowski as he heads for home with that second career win. One of the best ever outdoors. He's really coming into his own in Supercross now.
Yeah, outdoor racing seemed to have fit his style a little bit better, but this year he's just been so consistent up front. Second Supercross win, and really, you know, this might be the start of something really big in Supercross for him.
He's a little older than the rest of the front runners. At 24, he's paid his dues through 3 outdoor national championships.
and he is the one guy with a legitimate shot at Jeremy McGrath in the standings here. With his second win tonight, he could actually get, I believe, within 20 points of McGrath, and that means there's still the outside shot that if Jeremy has a problem, Kedrowski could pull out the championship. He has emerged as a contender, and he has won it here tonight at Pontiac. Jeremy McGrath will get second place points tonight after going up and down the roller coaster. He got the whole shot, fell all the way to fourth, and then battled back to finish second. And I think the battle back may have been as much a measure of a champion as anybody. Kedrowski has won it. Let the celebration begin. McGrath, Stanton, Cooper, and Lamson round out the top 5, and completing the top 10 here in the first half of the doubleheader. Phil Lawrence, Brian Swink, Jeff Matasevich, Sean Kalos, and Larry Ward. Here's the winner with Bob Hanna.
Mike, you went so long without winning a Supercross. Then a few weeks ago, you won Daytona. But people said the track of Daytona is much like a national, and that Mike Kedrowski might not be able to win a real one. Tonight, you were on a real one and with the best of them.
Yeah, you know, I started hearing that rumor, too. They said, well, it's kind of like a national track. That's the only thing Kedrowski can win on. And, you know, everyone at Kawasaki was kind of razzing me a little bit. So tonight, I guess I proved that wrong. I just kept telling them, hey, man, I'm going to start winning. Don't worry about it, you know. And, you know, that Daytona win gave me a lot of confidence. And I came here tonight, and I've been practicing hard over the weekend we had off. And, you know, it paid off. And now I'm just going to get ready for tomorrow, get enough rest because it's a two-nighter, and be ready for tomorrow.
With 5 races remaining, Kedrowski is within 21 points of the leader, McGrath, who's standing by with Art Ekman.
Well, you got the good start again, but a tough race.
Yeah, the track was really tough, you know. My mind, you know, I let it get to me a little bit again. You know, the track's really ruddy, and I just wasn't concentrating like I should have. I'm not very happy with it, but, you know, at least I didn't get third or fourth or fifth.
Well, indeed, he rarely gets third, fourth, or fifth. Remember, Damon Bradshaw dropping out here this evening drops him to a very distant fourth in the standings. For an update on his physical condition, once again, Art Ekman.
David, could you tell me what happened out there? You were making such a competitive run at it.
I just cross-rutted and went over the bars and kind of landed on my head and knocked me not quite right.
You're not quite right now, but you made it a heck of a run on the way through the crowd.
Yeah, I was trying to. I felt real good and was coming up, and I got up on the mic and started making a couple mistakes, and I said, well, I'll lay back for a second, and I'll go for it again. And about the time I started to go for it again, I crashed. So.
The frustration obvious for Damon Bradshaw. It's been a tough year. Final thoughts, Larry Myers.
Did McGrath fold earlier tonight or not? That's the big question. We won't know until we